So today I'm going to show you how to build an amazing tool that you can use to scrape Google search engine result pages, to extract LinkedIn contacts, to do outreach in bulk using a tool called Apify. If you don't know what Apify is a very well-known platform for scraping and collecting data online, which seamlessly integrates with automation tools such as Make, with which you can build very useful applications, including those that involve AI models. So in essence, I'll guide you through building the scraper on Apify, as well as showing you how to connect Apify to Make, so that you can then use that data to build amazing applications. Without further ado, let's get straight to it. So before moving on, I think it will be wise for us to go through a little demo on how this tool works. So right now I'm inside the tool that I've built in Apify, and we are in the input section. So here we will be typing the keywords that the scraper is going to use to go ahead and retrieve any relevant profile accounts that match our keywords, okay? So in this case, we will be looking for accounts that have Meta and that have software engineer in them, okay? And here we will be typing the number of pages, okay? What are these pages about? Well, this is the Google search engine result pages, okay? If you're confused about what that means, well, this is literally when you go here on Google and you search for anything in this search bar, you will be shown with a search engine result page, okay? This is what it is. It just has results from websites that you can go ahead and search. But there's a way of searching for specific objects inside websites. Okay, in this case, we can search for specific accounts in LinkedIn. And you can do it as follows. You can type, oh, not this. You can type the following syntax, okay? So you can type the site, then a colon, followed by the platform that you want to look in, and then some keywords. Okay, so you can look for a cloud architect, write in a keyword, and then you can put some other keywords. Okay, this could be anything. You could even add other keywords that are not related to an email. You can add, as I shown you before, software engineer, right? You can add that there as well. But let's have a look and see what happens if you search that. You'll be shown with accounts, okay, accounts on LinkedIn. But what is the issue with this? This is a way of doing it, right? This is a way of getting accounts from LinkedIn. But the problem with this is that you can only collect a certain number of profiles per search engine result page, right? In this case, the page only goes until here. And what you would have to do, if you want to do it in this manual way, would be to Command A or Control A this, and then you will get these and paste it into ChatGPT so that it generates you some sort of neatened table. And I'm guessing that you can see the problem with this. The problem with this is that if you want to do this for the other pages, you're going to have to Command A or Control A all of these manually, right? And probably from that, you can assume that it sucks. So therefore, this is why building a tool like this really helps, because you can directly add the number of pages that you want to search through. In this case, we're going to search through 10 pages, for example. Okay, and then we're going to run this. So let's click Save and Start. And let's see what we get. So we have a log here, what's going on. It's searching through these URLs that we asked for. It has pretty much the same syntax. So site :linkedin.com, then the keywords. And you can see now that it pushed 95, well, it found and pushed, which means that it retrieved 95 results, right? Which is pretty impressive. Just like that. So let's have a look. You can see that right here, right? Found and pushed 95 LinkedIn profiles individually. So let's have a look at one of these profiles. Let's go to Mr. Alexander. And you can see that as we added on the keywords, he's a software engineer that has experience at Meta, as you can see here. So it works, it's pretty good. Let's have a look at the second one, for example. He's also a software engineer at Meta, right? So it clearly works. Right. Now let's go ahead and scrape more results so that you understand the power of this, okay? So let's do software engineer as well, okay? And let's put meta as well. I just want to show you the capability of this, okay? So let's put 40 pages. Let's hit save and start. Let's see how many can retrieve. I'm just going to put you a bit of a more in-depth example. So you see how easy it is, right? It's searching through all these pages effortlessly, and it's still going. So we should definitely give it a coffee when it's done with it as a prize. But yeah, keeps going. All right, we'll let it finish, and it keeps going. I mean, just imagine how long this would take to do this manually, right? If you could imagine doing Control Alt on every single page. But as you can see here, let's have a look at how many accounts it scraped in the time you and me were talking. So it scraped 266 LinkedIn profiles, right? So for the time that it took, that's pretty impressive. And then what you can do is export these in any format that you want, right? So let's export this as an Excel file. You can even connect it to Google Drive and Gmail and Make, which I'll show you later how to do. But let's just show you how this will look as an Excel file, okay? So there you go. You can see here all these contacts. So you can definitely see the power of this and the possibilities of this, right? Let's say that you change the base code, the source code of the scraper, and then you add some other functionality so that it also scrapes a Gmail, okay? A Gmail and a phone number, for example. And then imagine that you can send this to an automation platform like make.com so that it can then automate some sort of outreach in bulk, all right? So hopefully you can see the power of that. Let's go back onto Safari. And yeah, there you go. So you had a look at the power of the scraper, right? And to be fair, it's not really difficult to build. Nevertheless, I'll give you all of the code in the description below once we get to the build. All right, so let's switch this up a bit and let's look for engineers at Tesla in, I don't know where engineers at Tesla are at, but we can look in California, for example, and let's look through 50 pages, okay? Save and start, and let's see what we find. So let's start this Docker container, okay? Containers are a very essential concept for software. It allows people from any device to access and use software, and I find the concept of containers pretty interesting. So if you want to have a look at that, I encourage you to do so by just looking at a video on YouTube or just searching through Google, okay? But yeah, nevertheless, we're going through this long list of pages and let's see what we get. So there you go. As you can see here, oh, did that go? As you can see here, we found and retrieved 306 LinkedIn profiles. That's pretty cool. Let's go on to the output and we can see over here all these contacts. So let's go and look at Wes Morrill. He's an engineer at Tesla, right? Great. Let's look at Rachel right here. What about her? Well, she's an engineer as well at Tesla, right? So great, it works. And then obviously, once you're here, you can follow them, message them, whatever you want to do with this type of outreach strategy, but you get the idea. Great. So now I'm going to show you how to build this. All right, so first of all, what you need to do is obviously head to Apify. I will leave a link to Apify down in the description below. But yeah, once you're in, you're going to go to the console and you are going to go over here and develop or create a new actor, okay? So you're going to scroll down and you're going to start with Python. We're going to use the beautiful soup library and also the HTTPX library, okay? So you're gonna go ahead and use this template, all right? Great. So this is what you're going to be presented with, okay? If you haven't touched code that much, don't worry, okay? It looks scary, but trust me, it doesn't. We're only going to touch a few files here, okay? Let's go through the main files that we're going to touch. So first one is the Docker file, okay? So folder can be called a directory as well, right? But yeah, what we're gonna touch is this Docker file, which defines the environment in which this tool runs, okay? It specifies some necessary packages and it sets your code to run in something called a container, okay? Think of it as a recipe for creating a virtual machine that has everything your tool needs, okay? That can run anywhere, regardless of the computer. Right, now we have the input schema, okay? This defines the structure of the input that your tool needs or your tool expects. For example, if your tool needs a list of keywords to perform a search, this file describes how that input should look, okay? So this is basically what defines how the input should look here, okay? So it's not built now, but if you remember on the other actor, on the other input section from the tool that I have already made, you see here that it has some input field, right? So this is defined by this input schema right here, okay? And then you have the requirements.txt, right? So this file lists all the Python packages that your code depends on, okay? When the tool runs, it will install these packages so that your code has everything it needs to work. So that's basically what these three files that we're going to touch mean in a nutshell, okay? If that wasn't too clear, I tried my best. Go ahead and look at some other YouTube tutorials or on Google in order to clarify what this means, right? You can always also, if you have the paid version of ChatGPT or any other language model, go ahead, screenshot that, and then obviously get the language model to explain you in the way that you prefer. But having said that, let's go through the document where I left the code. So the good thing is that you're not going to have to do anything to the code apart from copying it and pasting it into the right files, okay? So that's what we're going to do right now. So let's copy this code. That's going to go on the main.py file. Remember, there's two, okay? Don't get the one with the underscores, get the one below, okay? We're gonna do Command or Control A, sorry, and then paste that right there, okay? Hit save. That's the main.py code done. Let's go ahead and add the input schema. If you remember, this is what's going to define what the tool or the actor is going to take as the input to do the scraping. So it's the file right here, the JSON file right here. So we're going to do the same, select all, and then paste that. And then finally, we are going to copy this, place it on the requirements, okay? So go ahead and place that with this one. I'm telling you to copy paste it just in case, but the only thing I've added was the requests library. And that's pretty much it. So now once you've added that, hit save and then go ahead and build the tool or the actor, same thing. Okay, now it's going to go ahead and install all the dependencies and packages that it needs to run the code properly, okay? Perfect. So if you remember, we've added the input schema, and as you see here, we have it right here, right? So now we can add keywords. Great. So that's pretty much it. Everything else is sorted out for you. All right, before moving on, for those of you that are curious to understand how this code works, I'm going to go through it now very quickly. If you don't want to understand how the code works, you can obviously skip this part. But yeah, let's go through it very briefly. So This is Python code, right? And these are the libraries that we're going to use. Let me see if I can zoom in. There you go. So here we are using, let me zoom in out a bit. Let's get it the right size. There you go. So first of all, we are using Beautiful Soup, right? We're using the Beautiful Soup library, and this tool helps us extract information from web pages. Then we have RE, which is regular expressions, and this helps us find specific patterns in text, okay, and extract them, which is going to help us for extracting the right LinkedIn URL. Then we have URL parse, which helps us format our search terms correctly for Google for when we search them. Then we got requests, which allows us to make requests to web pages and get their content. And then we have the Apify library, and well, this is going to help us automate the web scraping tasks and run them in the Apify cloud. Okay, so hopefully that was straightforward. Now we're going to go through the functions really briefly. Okay, so this function right here is responsible for creating these URLs. So creating the URL that we're going to search with, and then also adding the keyword, right? The keywords that we added on the input. So you can see here, you're able to see the syntax that we were talking about before, and then the keyword is going to be added after that. Okay, perfect. So let's zoom out a bit, and now we're going to go through the second function, which is going to be responsible for going through those search URLs. It's going to visit each one and then extract the LinkedIn profile URLs from the search results using the regular expressions that I was telling you about, right? So it's basically a combination of characters, as you see here. That's going to allow us to remove all the unnecessary stuff that we don't need. We're just extracting the relevant part of the URL. And then we are going to do that for every URL, right, in the URL list that we find. And then over here, we are running the actual code, okay, and running the functions that we created before, right? These functions right here. Right, now that we've set this up and I explained the main code, now we can go ahead and try it out. So let's go to the input. Let's put in some values. Let's put, for example, let's look for London if you want. Well, there you go. And then we can put teacher if you want. And then we can put, maybe let's put designer. And then let's put a designer that works in, no clue. I'm really bad with this stuff, so I guess Louis Vuitton. And then let's get 30 pages. Okay, let's go ahead, save and start that. And it's going to create and start the Docker container. If you remember, we discussed briefly about that. And then it's going to search through all the search engine result pages, right? Given the URLs that we've created with the given keywords. So I'm gonna go through that. And if it works, it should retrieve us some LinkedIn profiles, right? Perfect. So, oh, sometimes it does that. For some reason, I think I'm running this in Safari. That's probably why. But yeah, it found and pushed 16 LinkedIn profiles individually. So that works. Great. Go ahead and test it. Yeah, if you have any comments, obviously drop them. And yeah, well, you can also export it and have a look at it outside of Apify if you want. But that's it. There you go. All right, so now that I've shown you how to build the Apify actor or scraper tool, you can go ahead and get the main code and paste it onto ChatGPT if you want to add some other features onto it, like scraping a Gmail from the LinkedIn profiles or a phone number if you want. Go ahead and test it out, play around with ChatGPT and see what you find. And same goes with any errors that you find with the current code. Feel free to paste it on ChatGPT and find any corrections to any errors that you find, okay? But once you're happy with the code, I'm going to show you now how to connect the Apify actor or tool with make.com so that you can pass through the data that you've collected from Google. All right, so let's get straight to it. All right, so you're gonna head to make.com and log into your existing accounts and then create a new scenario or automation. Scenario means the same thing as automation. It's just that Make likes calling it scenario because they like to be fancy. But yeah, if you don't have an account, I left a link down in the description that you can use to create a new account with. And once you're in, create that new scenario. And you are going to select the Apify module. Okay, as I said, they conveniently added Apify inside Make, which is great. And now you're going to encounter several options. Okay, we want to trigger the actor from make.com, so we're going to select run an actor. Okay, there are other things that you can do, such as watching the actor runs, right? This will trigger whenever a selected actor is run and finished. So these are things that are going to get triggered when you run the actor from the Apify server, but we don't want that, right? We're going to run it from Make. So let's run the actor and we need to make a connection. If you haven't done it before, you're going to create a connection. So you're going to type whatever makes more sense for you, right? Frank Apify connection or whatever. I'm not going to do it because I have it already. And where are we getting the API token? Well, if you go back here, you're going to go to settings in your account, not the settings in the actor. I don't know if there is any though, but yeah, go to the settings in your account and then go to integrations. And if you see here, you have a section where you can see your personal API tokens. Okay, it doesn't matter which one you choose. They both should relate to the same account. So just choose the one that you have already. And if you don't have one for some reason, add a new token. Okay, you're going to copy that and then go back here and paste it. Okay, I'm not going to do it because I did it already, but you should be able to hit save and then you should already have a connection. And once you do, you are going to select your actor. So make sure you remember the name of the actor and select it. Okay, in this case, it's my actor, I remember, okay, because this is the one I built with you guys. So if you go here, yes. So this is the one I built with you. So there you go. And we're going to select run synchronously, okay, because I want to wait until the actor is finished, just for me to have a better idea if the actor has finished running the task or not, right? The scraping task. Right. And now we're going to have to put an input JSON object, okay? This is basically the same as us going to the input here and selecting the keywords and the number of pages. But since we are triggering the actor separately, externally, we need to input the keywords because we are not in the UI of Apify. We need to use the JSON equivalent, right? So this is the structure that we need to use. So we're going to copy that and then we're going to go to a tool called JSON Editor Online, okay? And over here, we are going to paste the JSON input that we just copied, okay? Why are we doing this? Well, if you're going to copy it straight onto here, it's going to look kind of ugly, right? So we're using this tool to just make it look nicer, all right? So once you paste it in here, you're going to copy it again, and then you're going to paste it here. And look how nice it looks. So it looks nice, and whenever you're here and you want to make this dynamic, you can always add another, for example, I'm putting an example, Google Sheet here. Okay, let's say that you manually add some rows, okay, and then you're referring those rows onto here. You can add these as variables, right? I'm going to put an example, okay? This is not the actual thing, but you could imagine that if I replace these with dynamic variables from a previous Google Sheet, this would run whenever whenever I change the variables on the Google Sheets. I wouldn't have to change the variables on make.com, right? I can change them straight from Google Sheets without having to access this, right? So you get the idea. But for now, I'm just going to leave it as it is, okay? Just in the manual way to give you a quick overview of how this works. So I'm just gonna put engineer London. Let's add a mechanical engineer London. And yeah, that's it. So that's the input JSON object. And then you're going to leave this as they are. Then go ahead and hit OK in the bottom. I know that my face is in between, but yeah, well, now not anymore. So you're gonna hit OK. And that's the first module setup. Great. So now we've made the link to the actor from Apify. Now we're going to get what matters. We're going to get the information that the actor retrieves. This information is stored. Let me show you. It's all being stored over here in storage, right? So every time the actor runs, it's going to create a new data set with all the items that we saw, which in this case, it's all the LinkedIn URLs that you saw before, right? So we need to find a way to mention this data set ID that gets created, right? Every time the actor runs. So the way you do that is you conveniently add the get dataset items module. You might be asking, well, where do I get this dataset ID from? Well, it's conveniently added here for us in this previous run an actor module. Okay, so if you see here, every time this actor runs, we're going to get a new default dataset ID. So we just need to hit right there. Okay, and that's pretty much it. You leave this as clean, leave this as JSON because make.com is going to consider JSON objects and it's going to neaten them. If you choose another format, it might not look very nice inside make. You can leave the limit as 100 or even 1,000, depending on how many items you want to return, but that should be it, okay? And now, and obviously make the connection again, right, with the same API key as the previous module. But once you've done all of that, then that should be ready. Don't forget to save and then give it a shot. So let's run it. And well, it's taking some time, but that's fine. And then you see right here that we get all of the different LinkedIn accounts in different bundles, right? That's great because Apify sends all the data back to Make already in bundles. We don't have to add any iterators. If you remember from some other videos that I've made about Make.com, whenever we retrieve data, it usually comes in one bundle only, right? And then we have to add a tool called an iterator to separate this big bundle with a lot of little objects inside into separate bundles so that then we can consider them separately, right? But this is all done conveniently already by Apify. So it's great. So that's pretty much it. And then of course, as I said before, you can build around it. You can even add an OpenAI module here. So you can add an OpenAI module, completion module, and you can, for example, you can add the content from Apify get dataset module, right? So we can get these LinkedIn profiles and then we can do stuff with it, right? You can even call from here, you can call Perplexity, right? And you can ask it to do further searching for you online, given this list of LinkedIn profiles. You can do a million things. The good thing is that we know already how to get the data inside Make, and once in there, sky's the limit. You can do whatever you want with it. But yeah, thankfully, you get the base idea, okay? And you got to understand how to get the data from Apify onto Make, right? That's my whole point. Then you can build the rest by yourself because yeah, God knows what you want to build. So I'll let you to it. All right, so if you reached to this point of the video, I congratulate you because you probably were able to build your very own Apify scraper tool, as well as connecting that scraper tool onto make.com so that you can pass all the information that you scraped online onto Make and then build your own automation with it. I showed you a very simple example, right? I just showed you how you could connect an OpenAI module or a Perplexity module. So if you want me to build a more complex automation based on what I've shown you on this tutorial, please let me know. I'm listening down in the comments below. If you like this video and you want to see more of it, please like and subscribe. I would really appreciate it a lot. And if you didn't like the video, also let me know in the comments below, all right? Any kind of feedback is good feedback, all right? And that's pretty much it. That's all I had to say. So I'm gonna go grab an early dinner and I'll see you soon.